fake. I'm sorry, I think the tear was a little, what did she say that was worth crying about, for crying out loud? Would somebody tell me? Now here I guess I'm portraying it's a wonderful speech, don't misunderstand it. But gee whiz, if we're going to cry every time somebody celebrates their mother, is that so odd in Bill Clinton's circle that somebody loves their mother that is worth crying about? I don't know. I don't want to come off as insensitive, but and at Ginsburg's speech, it was a great speech. It was very moving. She's very articulate. She's very reserved. She's shy. I think she's very. I don't think she likes the spotlight at all. She's small. She's diminutive, and I think it was very well delivered. I have no quarrel with that. But man, oh man, and I wish to. My mother's the strongest person I know. I hope I can only be as great as she would have been if she had lived in an age when women weren't dirt. She didn't say it that way. But, and that's what made Clinton cry. We'll be back.
You're listening to the EIB Network. Is pro basketball legend Magic Johnson telling the whole truth about how he contracted AIDS? Data from the Center for Disease Control clearly indicates that AIDS is rare among heterosexual men who do not use IV drugs. But editors at top newspapers have killed articles investigating the Magic Johnson story. Why is the press afraid to pursue the truth about AIDS and Magic Johnson? The American Spectator reveals never-before published information about AIDS, Magic Johnson, plus the truth about Anita Hill, Ted Kennedy, Oliver Stone, Jesse Jackson, and Hillary Clinton. Call now and we'll rush you our free investigative report on Magic Johnson and AIDS, along with 12 issues of the American Spectator, the most fearless magazine in America. Call 800-257-7676. For just $34.95, you'll get the American Spectator plus a free blockbuster Magic Johnson AIDS report. Call 800-257-7676. Call now, 800-257-7676, and ask for the American Spectator.
Hello again, the Wachovia guy here with more about Wachovia's 8.9% Prime Plus Visa and MasterCard. Hey, we all use credit cards. Use mine just as much as the next guy. No big deal, right? Until you realize that some cards out there are charging up to 18% interest. It's ridiculous. I mean, why subject yourself to an overpriced credit card when you can get an 8.9% Prime Plus card from Wachovia? They're cheaper, make it easier to get by. And if you apply by June 30th, you'll even get a $50 rebate. Hey, $50. And Prime Plus comes with transfer checks too. Use them to pay off the other credit cards. After that, just trash your old plastic. So let's cut right to the chase here. It's not crazy to use a credit card. On the other hand, paying a ton in interest is just plain nuts. That's it for now. Catch you later.
Annual percentage rate may vary monthly. $39 annual fee. See a Wachovia personal banker for details. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Wachovia.
I'm kind of starting to like that guy.
All About Travel is your official Walt Disney World headquarters. Call now for Disney's Festival Magic Package, which includes 4 nights hotel accommodations at either the Caribbean Beach Hotel, the Port Orleans Hotel, or the Dixie Landing Hotel, and admission to all of the parks in Disney. Prices start at just $371 per adult, so get your reservations now. Call 751-0464. All About Travel in Cobblestone Place. All About Travel, what travel is all about.
For Father's Day, what could be better than quality clothing from Best & Saul's Men's Shop? During Best & Saul's Father's Day sale, you'll find the perfect gift for Dad at a great savings, like the entire stock of the Flying Scotsman collection at 20% off, a select group of suits and sport coats 25% off, and the complete stock of London Fog knit shirts and shorts 20% off. If it's for Dad, shouldn't it be the best? From Best & Saul's Men's Shop in the Sunrise Shopping Center, East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
WGBR. Always on the right. This is Rush Limbaugh on Goldsboro's very own WGBR. Well, the President's press conference recently concluded. Here's another example of Harry S. Truman, 1946. The buck stops here. Bill Clinton, 1993. The buck never got here. He was asked about Bosnia. He said, look, I made a decision, but the United Nations controls what happens in Bosnia. I didn't change my mind. Our allies decided that they were not prepared to go that far. Yeah, boy, old George Bush. The United Nations really pushed him around. United Nations really ran the show when George Bush was president, wanted to put together a worldwide coalition of forces to maintain the free flow of oil at market prices. This is just another example of the flat-out misstatement, untrue, fraud and deceit behavior that has come to personify this guy. I mean, from the campaign, I'm going to have limited airstrikes in there. We're going to have some kind of policy. We're going to make a morality play. We're going to go in there. We're going to do something because people are dying. And it was only because none of the others would go along with what we wanted to do, which we couldn't tell anybody because we really didn't even know. That's why they backed it. Now he's blaming it on them. He never has anything to do with anything. Never.
WGBR. Car theft, a major problem nationwide. The police and public are concerned, and rightly so. And now there's a way to do something about car theft. The police say the answer is the club, and they need your help in fighting car theft. The police urge you to buy and use the time-tested club, the one anti-theft device that's affordable, effective, and economically priced. Bright red club made of tempered steel fits easily across the steering wheel of your car and makes the car undrivable. Plus, its high visibility discourages break-ins. With the club, there are no false alarms. And remember, the club is guaranteed for up to $500 of your insurance deductible. It seems that car theft affects everyone except those who use the club. Without the club, it's like playing Russian roulette, and the odds are not in your favor. Get the club, now available in many colors, then park anywhere and feel secure every time you park your car. The club is available at better stores everywhere, but accept no imitations. Make sure it says the club on the handle.
WGBR, Goldsboro's very own. From ABC News, I'm Gary Nahn. President Clinton today took a look at the latest economic figures, consumer prices, and the trade deficit figures. He smiled and said they're very good. The figures show inflation slowing down over the past few months. At a news conference in the White House press room, the president predicted that his Supreme Court nominee, Ruth Ginsburg, will be confirmed in time to take her seat at the start of the fall term. The president was asked if he had any regrets about the way he handled the nominating process, with Interior Secretary Babbitt and Judge Breyer appearing to be rejected as frontrunners. He said he did not. Also, the president said today the U.S. has made it clear the action taken in Bosnia, if UN peacekeeping forces in the Balkans are attacked, is good. Same standard, he said, that led to his decision to use U.S. air power against a Somali warlord blamed for attacking U.S. forces. House debate opens on a bill designed to stop employers from hiring permanent replacements for striking workers. New Mexico Democrat Bill Richardson supports the bill.
It's insulting to say that this bill is going to encourage workers to strike. Our workers want to work. They want to produce. They want equity and safety. And they want equal pay.
One of Richardson's colleagues, Republican Cass Bellinger of North Carolina, during floor debate complained that the bill amounts to the president holding a gun to the head of America's small businesses.
It's time for the president to stop playing Russian roulette with American jobs. American small businesses are tired of serving as targets.
The bill being debated fulfills one of the president's campaign promises. The FBI is helping investigate what appears to be a series of Pepsi tampering cases. The latest reports of people finding syringes in Pepsi cans coming from Illinois, Wyoming, Missouri, and Ohio. Medical researchers conclude the average blood cholesterol level among adults in the U.S. has declined significantly over the past 12 years. Caterpillar reportedly is opening an office in Hanoi. No confirmation of the government report in the official Vietnam newspaper. You're listening to ABC News.
Sandy, let's get to Sears' Great American Carpet Sale.
How great is it?
Every carpet and rug is on sale. Berbers, textures, plushes, all the colors and styles we the people want.
How American.
Plus, save $2 to $20 a square yard on Sears' complete selection of DuPont certified Stainmaster carpet.
Don't just stand there. Great Americans like us know when to take action. Let's go.
Save on all carpets, including DuPont Stainmaster carpets through Saturday at Sears.
You can count on me, Sears, Roebuck and Company.
One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know.
Groucho Marx was a very funny man. He was always on. He made his brothers laugh. He made his children laugh. He made his dry cleaner laugh.
I can let you have my footprints, but they're upstairs in my sock.
Groucho made everyone laugh. Well, except for all three of his wives. It seems he made them drink. A&E's biography unmasks Groucho Marx tonight at 8 Eastern and 9 Pacific. Biography on A&E. It's time well spent.
Doctors in Philadelphia say the tumor removed yesterday from Senator Arlen Specter's brain was non-cancerous. They expect him to recover fully. Pennsylvania Governor Robert Casey, recovering from a heart-liver transplant, is awake and responding today to commands. All vital signs are stable. His condition from a cardiac standpoint, according to doctors, is described as excellent. Treasury Secretary Lloyd Benson outlines what he calls the hard choices facing the Clinton administration and Congress when it comes to shrinking the deficit. Benson spoke today to the American Trucking Association in Washington.
What emerges from the Senate may be different from the House. That's why we have a conference process. So the two legislative bodies can resolve their differences. That's not new. But I suspect in the end that the tax on fuel, your contribution to the deficit reduction, will be not 1 cent more than passed the House.
Benson says the status quo means instead of a $300 billion deficit by the end of the decade, it'll be more than twice that. Self-described serial killer Donald Evans was free for a day and a half. Gulfport, Mississippi sheriffs found him today in a shed in a lumber yard just after daybreak. He offered no resistance when ordered to surrender about a half mile from the Harrison County Jail. Evans escaped Sunday night with 3 other inmates. 2 have been caught, a third still at large. Wall Street, Dow Jones Industrials down 9.73 at 3504, volume 133,240,000 shares. This is ABC News.
This is James Whitmore. With me is business executive and expert gardener Vicki Pokaluk. Vicki, your geraniums are absolutely breathtaking, and I know you give Miracle-Gro a lot of the credit.
I like geraniums because of the color they give, and Miracle-Gro enhances that color so much.
That's certainly true.
The contrast between the reds and the greens in them is just gorgeous. The flowers are more vibrant, they're larger.
They are gigantic.
I'm getting geraniums almost as big as cabbages. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend Miracle-Gro to anyone. Miracle-Gro really does work.
Honestly, what does she think she is, 16? Why, just a minute ago, she was practically jogging right past my porch in this outlandish sweatsuit. I asked her where the fire was. What? She's on her way to your house? Well, of course I know the benefits of regular exercise like walking. And if you two think for 1 minute you're hitting the bricks without me, don't move. I'm on my way.
This message from the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports.
We'll see a lot of sunshine coming up today. It's also going to get warmer than yesterday. The high this afternoon, about 85 for most of you, and there will be a slight chance of a shower or a thunderstorm this afternoon. The chance of getting one is pretty slim, but there will be a couple of them rumbling around later today. Then tonight, partly cloudy, a risk of a shower, lows in the low to mid-60s. Again, just a couple of showers, though. Sunshine tomorrow and a little hotter, highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm Bill Schmidt at the Weather Center.
Now, more of the Rush Limbaugh Show on 1150 WGBR.
The views expressed expressed by the host on the show are sweeping a nation. Hundreds, thousands, millions of Americans report testing positive for EIB, an airborne phenomenon spread by casual contact. If you get it, you're cured.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City,
that's where we are.
Here is Rush Limbaugh.
147 days and counting of the raw deal. The Clinton presidency, 1,313 to go. A watched pot never boils. An administration whose days are counted down never ends, it seems. Glad you're with us, my good buddies. 800-282-2882, should you like to be on the program today. How many of you saw Larry King live last night? Bill Bennett took on the New Age guru of Madame Hillary, Michael Lerner. A superb job turned in by the former education secretary, despite being ganged up on 2-1. Every time Lerner would come up with something idiotic, King would say, so, what's wrong with that? How do you agree with that? How do you agree with that? How do you disagree with that? And it was sad. It was really sad. So I have dug up some stuff. And I've gone back to 1973. Michael P. Lerner, who publishes and is editor of the Tikkun magazine and is the author of this politics of meaning thing. And Bennett was right. If you saw it, the politics of meaning is the politics of big government, the politics of tax increases, the politics of government knowing what's best for you and everybody else, and they're going to exempt them from whatever ideas they come up with, exempt themselves. Now, Hillary Clinton, April 5th, went down to Austin, Texas, home of Ann Ma Richards, the governor of Texas. She made a speech which she talked about the politics of meaning, and she said in that speech, we must all learn, we must all admit, we must all come to grips with the truth that there are things bigger than ourselves. This, of course, is very frustrating because the First Lady is just now coming to this conclusion, she's now arriving at this truth. And as I say constantly, she's of the belief that she's the first to be aware of this, first to learn this. She's now got to impart it to everybody else, when in fact she's the last one on the bus, practically. People know this. So a lot of people have tried to figure out, all right, who's this Lerner guy? What is his past, and why has she been so enthralled? So she has used the phrase politics of meaning. It is his phrase. It is his definition. And so I think whatever we can discover about this man is relevant. Do you not agree? In trying to ascertain what these... Because here's a guy who's got the private ear of the president and first lady. And as Bennett said last night, the government's not supposed to be involved in meaning. The government's not supposed to be... The politics of meaning is not what government is supposed to do. Define what's best for every citizen in terms of what they think is important and not... I mean, this guy criticizes... He says the pursuit of profit, the pursuit of economic stability is responsible for a lack of spirituality in America. And it is that which has caused us to be empty people wandering around looking for meaning in our lives. Bennett properly pointed out that you can't eat and you can't live without the pursuit of those things, and just because you do pursue a quality life for you and your family does not mean that you are absent any spirituality or that you are in any way spiritually deficient. The automatic conclusion, though, that Lerner and apparently Hillary and Bill Clinton make, or they draw to this comparison, is just the opposite. That the pursuit of profit, that the pursuit of quality life somehow means you must be, and this is right in line with what they think of the 80s. That you must be greedy, you must be selfish, you must be a cheater, you must like to manipulate and exploit people. And this is all part of this worldwide movement to oppose competition, to guarantee equality of result and sameness of outcome. And I make mention here as often as I discover it of this effort to take competition out of life, because
it's so unfair that somebody has to win.
It's so much better that somebody's better than somebody else, so much worse that somebody's better than somebody else. Can't have that. And it's bad enough when this new age stuff catches the ear of the willing media, but it's caught the minds and hearts apparently of high-ranking members of this administration. Well, I got a book. Michael P. Lerner, The New Socialist Revolution is its title. He wrote it, 1973, 20 years ago. We condemned Robert Bork on 20-year-old writings, and I think that we can certainly use the 20-year-old writings of Michael P. Lerner to get an insight as to his thinking. The New Socialist Revolution, an introduction to its theory and strategy. Here's the dedication of the book. Dedicated to theory and to my sisters and brothers who died in the Nazi concentration camps and in the bombing and napalming and torture by the American invaders of the country of Vietnam. He writes, this book is an attempt to explain why the only changes that will make sense in America are those that will move this country to socialism. The three sections of the book correspond to three basic questions. One, how are the problems of American society rooted in the basic structure of capitalism? Which forces in American society can bring about a socialist revolution, and what tactics can they use? Three, what will the new socialism be like? By the way, his opening quote is this: the demand to abandon illusions about our condition is second to abandon a condition which requires illusions. Karl Marx. That's who is one of his own gurus and heroes. And this book is just replete with tributes to Marx and socialism, anti-capitalism. Socialism is our alternative. The next 30 years could mark the beginning of human history. Now, this is another attitude that these New Agers have, this arrogance that somehow history began with the day they were born. That everything that came before is rooted in evil, and that only their arrival in the world can save it. The next 30 years could mark the beginning of human history, the emergence of human life from the kingdom of necessity, which had to be centered around producing enough goods so that people could live, to the kingdom of freedom, which can be centered around the creation of beauty and pleasure, human self-realization, love, and wisdom. Does this not sound like 60s commune stuff? Like from the turned on, tuned out generation? Let's see. I should mention the intellectual guidance I have received from Richard Lichtman, David Horowitz, and Abraham Joshua Heschel, and the more general contribution of the entire Marxist tradition and the tradition of the struggle of the New Left, both of which have played a crucial part in developing the ideas I have tried to simplify and synthesize in this book. Now, David Horowitz is now done an about-face and become one of this nation's leading conservative thinkers. So disgusted did he become with the left's agenda as written and articulated here by Michael P. Lerner. I'm just going to, I went through here and underlined some things that struck me as I gave this a cursory glance. Let me just read something here. But while attacking hard drugs, the youth culture has glorified beyond all reality the importance of psychedelics in the formation of revolutionary consciousness. To To the best of my knowledge, marijuana heightens the individual's sexual and sensual awareness, but not necessarily his understanding of the world. To a large extent, this is true also of LSD and mescaline, though these drugs may have some content, since they seem always to accentuate the individual's awareness of the beauty in other people and in nature. Although that insight in and of itself does not lead one to political consciousness or activity, it helps. The day-to-day workings of capitalism desensitize us to other human beings and to the beauty of the world, leading us to view people and things simply in terms of expediency and getting ahead. To the extent that LSD makes such a view difficult, it is a progressive drug. Guys advocating LSD because it steers us away from the evils of capitalism. Good LSD is revolutionary in the same sense that good art or good music is. It gives us a glimpse of human freedom and human possibilities, and hence implicitly raises the question of why these possibilities are not being realized in our own lives. So we got to go out and get on LSD. Only then will we have freedom. This guy is so whacked out, he doesn't realize the prison you put yourself in when you become addicted to drugs. These mind-altering, mind-expanding drugs, which history has shown to be destructive and ruinous. There is not a valid pro-LSD movement. About the only lingering pro-drug movement we have are the normal folks who want to legalize marijuana. But this book, as I say, is just filled with this kind of thing. Well, Rush, that's 20 years ago. Look at this guy on TV. Listen to what he says today. And tell me if it's any different from what these people were saying in the 60s. And I'm telling you that this guy has captured the hearts of leaders of this administration. Yeah, let me just try another. A decentralized economy would be easier to control and ecologically more sound. This is 20 years ago, and here's proof that these people, that the new home of socialism, Marxism, is the environmental movement. There is also a paragraph here that will, if I read this to you, would sound exactly like Perot. I'm going to give it a shot. This will sound exactly like Perot, just 20 years ago. Every important political question would be put directly to the people for their consideration and decision. This is how you reshape America, by the way. This is a political and economic organization under the new socialism. That's the title of the chapter, the new socialism. We already have the technology to do this easily. Every home would have a very simple voting device, possibly attached to the phone or television receiver, which would send a message to a central computer in the city or area recording the vote. Prior to the vote, issues would be debated in newspapers and on TV and in mass meetings in the community, with every major side given equal opportunity to present its position. At the local, regional, and national level, there would be an elected body of delegates, each recallable to his district anytime 10% of the voters signed a petition for a new election, whose responsibility would be to decide which issues would be put to the people and how to formulate them in the clearest possible way in order to examine understanding and to bring out the potentially controversial aspects of the proposal under consideration. This is all about keeping it all away from you until they get it the way they want it, and then they present it to you so that your vote is pretty much ordained from the beginning. Any group that felt some key question was not being put to the electorate, or that some key viewpoint was not being represented publicly on TV, at mass meetings, or in newspapers, would circulate a petition stating its viewpoint. Signatures of 1% of the voting population in the relevant area would give the group the right to, 1, write its own proposal to be put directly to people, and 2, air its views on the media. It would be given more time than any single position normally is, on the grounds that its view had not previously been given exposure in the usual debates on relevant issues. Does that not sound like Ross Perot's 20 years ago, written by Michael Lerner? Now, I got Lonnie Guinier's piece that she wrote Sunday in the Washington Post, where she, what I would have told the senators had I had a chance to go to the confirmation hearings. I got to take a break. When I come, it's right in line with this stuff. this guy and his electronic town hall and how, I mean, this is not anywhere near a representative republic here. It's really not even much of a democracy the way this guy has got it scripted. It's interesting to find out how come this guy's town hall idea didn't catch on and Perot's did when they're basically the same. The charisma of the messenger. Oh, I'll tell you, this is really eye-opening. And depending on your point of view, I'm relatively secure with myself, but some of you people would be scared witless about this stuff if you were able to just put in confines that this guy goes to the White House and has meetings with Hillary Clinton and she goes gaga over what this guy says. Take a break. Back with Lanny Guinier and the Washington Post Sunday right after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
You know, I can't program my own VCR. No, I'm not stupid. In fact, I'm the president of my own company. But 8 out of 10 of us can't program our own VCRs. I'm Michael Bissonette. I founded Voice Power Technology to solve problems just like this. We've developed a VCR remote control that's controlled by your voice. You just speak right into it and your VCR obeys. For instance, if you wanted to record a movie next Monday, you'd say, record Channel 7, Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., and your VCR will automatically record Channel 7 that Monday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's honestly just that simple. Our voice remote works with virtually all brands of VCRs and requires no installation of any kind. Now, anyone that can speak can program their VCR. It's just that simple. Call us now for free information on this incredible breakthrough product. Call 1-800-795-9600. 1-800-795-9600.
Would you buy a pair of shoes without trying them on? A car without driving it? Then why buy a vacuum on blind faith? Hi, I'm David Orrick, maker of the 8-pound Orrick XL Hotel Vac. And if you call the factory, 1-800-989-4200, you can try out my legendary Hotel Vac in your home, absolutely free for 15 days with no obligation. The best part is it weighs only 8 pounds, yet it out-cleans vacuums weighing 40 pounds. Try before you buy. Call 1-800-989-4200.
WGBR 1150.
Goldsboro and Highway 55 in Mount Olive.
Just one taste, and you'll know that we're the place. Oh, we're the place to dine, where the food and the prices are fine. Yeah, just one taste is all. That's all it takes.
If you're planning to take Dad out for Father's Day, remember one word: McCall's. Why McCall's? Because they'll feed your family a feast. Featuring barbecue chicken, barbecue pork ribs, fried chicken and turkey, 9 vegetables, bread, salad, and dessert for $6.19. Just one taste is all it takes. The Sunday buffet for Dad for Father's Day, $6.19. Children 10 and under, $3.75. McCall's Barbecue, Highway 7111 Goldsboro and 55 Mount Olive.
Just one taste. All that it takes. That's all it takes. Just one taste. All that it takes. That's all it takes. Just one taste. All that it takes.
Is your home's peeling, chipping, or damaged exterior going to need painting again this season? Are you dreading the effort of doing it yourself or the expense of hiring someone else? If so, then call Sears Siding. They'll inspect your home's exterior and give you a free estimate on maintenance-free vinyl siding. Call now at 1-800-652-2211 and save up to $500. Sears Siding has an exclusive wood grain texture that's guaranteed not to dent or peel for as long as you own your home. And it's sold, furnished, and installed by a Sears authorized contractor, someone you can trust. License numbers furnished on request. Sears Installed Home Improvements has over 1 million satisfied customers and counting. So call Sears Siding now at 1-800-652-2211 and save up to $500.
Not available in all areas. Savings not to exceed 10% of total price. Offer ends June 30th. So call 1-800-652-2211. That's 1-800-652-2211.
Now, more broadcast excellence at 1150 WGBR.
Little Gary Glitter, rock and roll, part 1. Rush Limbaugh and the EIB Network. One 1-800-282-2882. Now, Lanny Guinier wrote a piece Sunday in the Washington Post, which was entitled, "What I Would Have Said to the Senate." And I don't have to take very many excerpts from it. There's really, in the first 3 or 4 paragraphs, there's one really great series of sentences. She talks about rules in elected bodies, like in the Senate or the House or state legislatures or city halls, city councils, boards of supervisors, board of aldermen, whatever it is. She doesn't like it if there are rules that protect incumbents even when they lose touch with the electorate. And then she has a problem with what she calls standards that simply count black faces in the legislature without asking whether black voters chose those people as their representatives. Well, let's take these separately, because with what I just read to you from Michael Lerner's version of his town hall, what these people want is to try to attach quality to the democratic process. In Lanny Guinier's case, she wants the Voting Rights Act to also address the quality of the person elected. That is the sole judgment of the voters. It's not the sole judgment of an arbiter or arbitrator who looks at the results and says, well, that's still not right. She looks at the results of a democratic election and says, that's not right based on qualitative. She'll see half of a body. Well, let's say you got 100 representatives of the Senate. Half of them are black. She wants to go in there and say, yeah, well, did black voters choose those black senators, or did they not? Because if the black voters didn't choose them, they're not authentic. So she wants to attach the quality of the people we elect. She wants to somehow be arbitrated. And I think that Michael Lerner and his new age technique of putting together governing coalitions is pretty much the same way. When you object to rules that protect incumbents even when they lose touch with the electorate, who's going to decide that? I mean, we figure that that's the case now. There are a lot of people who think that the House of Representatives is not in touch with anybody, that the House of Representatives is the most corrupt institution in the United States government. I, for one, think that. I think that the Democratic leadership of the House of Representatives needs to be overturned. But you can't do it using the Voting Rights Act. You can't do it using any of Lanny Guinier's prescriptions, because just because I think the quality of leadership on the Democratic side's wrong doesn't give me the right to sit there and make the judgment for the country and then to decertify the election and say Tom Foley. That's why term limits have arisen as a remedy to fix this, because there's no democratic challenge in term limits in a qualitative way. This is really why she's not sitting in the Justice Department today. This stuff would have all come out during hearings. Clinton knew it and didn't want to go through this, didn't want to appear to be on the side of somebody like this, and that's why he distanced himself from her. But whenever you have somebody like Michael Lerner who wants to set up an electronic town hall and start giving people who don't get a fair shake in presenting their view to the electorate more airtime than somebody else, you're getting a qualitative judgment that's being made by a single arbitrator or a series of single arbitrators. It just doesn't work with the way we do business in this country.
I've just discovered something amazing. The newest and most advanced razor ever made from Panasonic. They call it the Smooth Operator 2 wet-dry razor with float control. It has 2 independent floating heads that hug the contour of your face. And best of all, you can use this Smooth Operator 2 dry like a conventional electric or in the shower with water and lather. So you get a blade close shave without irritation. This is the fastest, closest, most comfortable shave in Panasonic history. It's the new Panasonic Smooth Operator 2 with float control. And you've got to try it to believe it.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
This is Wayne Alley reporting WGBR News. A Wayne County delegation that attended the National Federation of Democratic Women in Austin, Texas, was told in a workshop on voting that a far greater number of people will vote if the voting period is extended, as it was in Texas, where there was a record all-time vote in a 30-day voting period. Wayne Democratic Women's member Joanne Roberts said she'll recommend a longer voting period to the local elections board and the Wayne legislative delegation as a result of what she learned in the Federation workshop, but not a 30-day voting period.
Because of the voter bill, and it's much easier now for people to register, they encouraged us to come back to our counties and our states and to see if we couldn't talk to our legislatures and have them to extend the voting period. Instead of making it a 12-hour day, maybe make it at least a 2-week period where people could go by and vote at their convenience.
Joanne Roberts. In other news today, national school desegregation expert Al Lenseth will answer questions from members of the Wayne County Board of Education relative to the unitary status of the merged city-county school system in a special call meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in Wayne Center in Goldsboro. In addition to the question as to whether the merged system is a unitary system now that 2 unitary systems are merged, there will be questions about such things as district lines and busing. Time permitting, the school board's advisory committee members will be allowed to ask questions. Lenseth expressed opinion to school board member George Moy at the annual convention of school boards in March that the unitary status of the merged school system is unchanged from the unitary status the city and school systems had individually. As a result, it was his opinion the merged system would not have to change district lines or bus students. 4 inmates in the Wayne County Jail have been charged with assault inflicting serious injury to another inmate. Documents on file charging the 4 allege inmate Rondell Bizzell was hit and kicked and smothered with a sheet, and that injuries included a swollen eye, bruised ribs, a head injury, and both lips were split. Goldsboro police records show 20-year-old Wayne Community College student Norman Lee Cotter of Mount Olive has been charged with assault on a woman student at the college. Investigating officers said the woman advised him she was in the hallway when the suspect approached her and assaulted her. That's an update of WGBR News. I'm Wayne Alley reporting.
Looks like some pretty typical June weather coming up today. A lot of sunshine, a slight chance of a thunderstorm later. It'll be fairly warm, and the humidity will be up from the way it's been, but it still won't be all that bad today. Highs up in the mid-80s. Tonight, partly cloudy, a risk of a shower. Lows in the low to mid-60s. Then tomorrow, a little hotter, though the humidity still won't be all that bad. Lots of sunshine, and temperatures climbing to the mid and upper 80s. I'm Bill Schmidt at the Weather Center.
Talk of the town, 1150 WGBR.
Let's go to the phones. It's been a while. Phone number 1-800-282-2882. By the way, before we go to the phones, I want to give a mini little caller clinic here. And I want to stress that I do this for the benefit of all of us, me and you, the audience. When you call here to address a certain topic and tell our official screener of calls, one Mr. Bo Snerdley Esquire, what your topic is, the decision is made based on what you say that you want to discuss as to whether or not to put you on the air. I guess this is as good as time as any to go through this. We have so many new listeners. Not everybody who calls this show gets on. This is one of the most tightly screened programs in America. There's no First Amendment here. Just because you get through does not entitle you to go on the air. We are here to put on the best show that we can. The show is the thing. I don't mean show in entertainment terms. I'm talking about this presentation. We want as many elements of this program to be top drawer, the best they can be as possible. And that is why when we screen the phone calls, we do it on a number of bases. There are a number of topics that we do not allow to be discussed here, not because I have a bias against them, but because I think they're boring or because I'm not interested in them. If I'm not interested in it, we're not going to talk about it because this is a show based about what I think and what I'm passionate about. And if I don't care, I'm going to sound bored and it's not going to be interesting to listen to, and then we're in trouble. And keeping people interested in listening is what this is about. And because without that, none of the other benefits that derive from this program will occur. So when you call and when you tell us what it is you wish to discuss, a decision will be made based on a discussion that Snerdley and I have every day as to what calls we're looking for on various topics and this and that and the other thing. And by the way, it doesn't, just because you don't fit into what we've discussed, if you call and are passionate and interesting, got something fascinating to say, and Snerdley judges it so, then he'll put you on the air. Whatever guidelines we go into every show with are bendable, they're flexible. But they are bendable and flexible only in so much as the thing that the prospective caller says he wants to talk about that proves to be interesting. But there's nothing here that happens based on fairness or being nice. I am polite once you get here, but we're not here to be polite and be nice. If we turn to, you know what we ought to do to illustrate all this, just take every call we get for about a half hour and show you what happens. If you don't screen, no, it'd be a great illustration. We might not have an audience after 20 minutes, but it would be a great illustration of what happens if you don't screen. And you'll find a lot of shows don't screen calls, and this is why you don't listen to them. Or they screen them based on oddball, weird things. Now, to the point. When you call here and say you want to go on the air about a specific topic, then when you get on the air, go to that topic. Because if you don't, then you are getting into an area which may be dull and boring, and you're taking advantage of our goodwill and good graces when you go beyond the topic which you enunciated as the reason for your call, because that's the sole basis on which the decision is made as to who gets on this show and who doesn't. So if I look up here and I see Enos, who wants to talk about Ginsburg's speech, and Enos launches into a discussion of the definition of a nerd versus a wonk, then Enos is not going to be around long. Because we didn't want to talk about the definition of a nerd and a wonk. We made this. So if, for example, I just tell you who's up here now. This is not to embarrass these people. We got Jeff from Pittsburgh. He wants to talk about the Ginsburg speech and Sandra Day O'Connor. We got Ed from Flagstaff, Arizona, who disagrees with me about my use of the word worker. You know, I'm trying to say that the word worker. I gotta say it here, Lobianco. Just go easy here on the buzzer. I gotta use it in describing. I'm trying to eliminate the word because I think it's too Marxist and socialist. I'd rather use associate or employee. Whatever. Disagrees with me about that. And Judy from College Station, Texas, who's upset, or I don't know, she wants to make some comments about Roger Clinton's statements. Now, if I go to any of these three, when a new policy, if I go to any of these three and they start talking about anything other than what it says up there, I'm going to politely say, sorry, you're not talking about that which you said you want to discuss, and I must go. And don't try my, hey, Rush, you know, I've been at home for 2 hours, I've heard so many interesting things. Maybe you can talk about other things. Talk first about that which made you call in the first place. Just a few guidelines, lessons, because it's too crucial out there, folks. The screening process is a very entailed, detailed thing, and the people's who have the decisions made as to put which people on the air are very scientifically arrived at. So now I have given, and I'm not comfortable offering these lectures. I'm not comfortable issuing these warnings. I am not comfortable making these admonitions because most callers are superb. Most callers are el perfecto. Most callers are right, and I think on balance we have the best callers on this show than any show out there. So now it's to the phones. Flagstaff, Arizona, this is Ed. Welcome to the program, sir.
Rush, dittos from Flagstaff.
Thank you.
How about those Suns?
You just had to do it, didn't you?
Yeah.
You just had to do it.
Don't hang up.
No. I don't hang up on people. I'm not rude or impolite. Now, 20 seconds has gone by here, Ed.
I'm sorry. I try not to bore you.
No.
I listen to you all the time.
Thank you.
And usually I agree with you. But worker, I have no problem with that word. And I'm real proud to be one.